What's up? It's your boy Romance coming through with another world according to Romance. Today I'm going to get back to history a little bit. I'm going to do a new series on, this is the one that's really dear to me because I identify as this, the Celtz. And today I'm not really going to go into too much in-depth history. I'm going to save that. This will probably be about between 3 to 6 episodes. So this will be episode 1. And it's going to basically be telling you about why I identify as a Celt. Well, if you watch my shows, you probably hear me talk about Celts a lot. I know a lot about Celts because, again, I believe that I am one of them. I don't look like a Celt. If you see other Celtic people, you know what I mean? Like Irish people, they never want to believe I'm Irish. Welsh people don't want to believe I'm Welsh, and I guess that's what I'm going to get into on the show today because the identity crisis, and definitely in America we have an identity crisis. The longer you stay in America, the more you lose your roots, and then you find that you are just American and you don't really have an identity. There is no American identity, really. It's just anyone who comes here, anyone who fucking floats here in an inner tube and sinks his toe into our sand is just as much American as, you know, somebody who, like me, who has ancestors that fought not only in the Revolutionary War and every war since then, but in the French and Indian War, you know what I'm saying? In the 30 Years War in Europe. Like, I know my history. But anyway, I'm going to get into the Celts. Now, what the hell are Celts? You hear it a lot around St. Paddy's Day. You hear it a lot, like, when talking about Ireland and Scotland. Yes, those are Celtic people. There's actually 3 nations left on Earth that are truly Celtic nations. There are Wales is one of them, although Wales is considered to be just a part of Britain, like a wing of Britain, and then Scotland and Ireland. Scotland and Ireland speak Gaelic Celtic. In Wales, they speak Brythonic Celtic. Another name for Gaelic is Goidelic, and that is what's spoken there today, and that's the most commonly occurring Celtic, the only real Celtic language that's spoken naturally left in the world. It wasn't always that way. Just up to like 300 years ago, there was like maybe 12 Celtic languages left, and now there's 2. But anyway, we'll get into that, and in my last show in this series, I'll talk about Celts around the world because America, believe it or not, is a Celtic nation. Britain, if you go to a person from England and say, you're a Celt, they'll probably get offended. I mean, here in America, and it's another thing that I'm going to get into in this show, it's kind of cool to say that you're Celtic. Not so in England. They got beef. There's a lot of beef between like the Irish and the English, and if you tell a British person you're Celtic, they'll probably say, no, I'm not, I'm Anglo-Saxon. But they are truly, they have Celtic blood too. There's Celts in northern France, a place called Brittany. There's Celts in Spain. There's more Irish people in Boston, I think, than there is in all of Ireland. Australia is the same way, but that's with Scottish people. That's where they sent all the Scottish prisoners during the 1700s to Australia, and Australia is a freaking almost a nation of Scotland, really. New Zealand's a pretty Celtic nation. I could go on and on. South Africa, there's a couple of them, and there's Celtic people in Argentina. We're all around the world. All right, so what are the Celts? Well, the ancient writers and when you got ancient writers, all right, who do we got? We got my boy Herodotus, the Greek, the father of history. You got Strabo, he was a 1st century Roman writer. Livy, another Roman writer, but he was a 1st century BC. Diodorus Siculus, a Greek writer that lived in the Roman Empire, and he was like a Greek teacher / tutor. The Romans had a lot of Greek tutors, and he was one of them. And he was named Diodorus of Sicily, or Diodorus Siculus. I can't pronounce it in Roman, but anyway. There's him, and he did not like the Celts. He talked a lot of shit about them, and most Roman writers did. They like talked about them disgustingly. And then one of the number one like sources of information on Celts, especially ancient Celts, is none other than Julius Caesar in his book De Bello Gallica, or The War in Gaul. I mean, what Hitler did to like so many nations, and you know, the internment. I guess it's not cool to put that on the same level as Hitler, but like basically he just destroyed a whole nation of people, man, fucking piecemeal. You know, why is Julius Caesar's name known in this day and age? Well, because he was a Roman emperor. Why did he become Roman emperor? Because he was a military leader. Why was he a military leader? What did he do? He destroyed the Celtic nation of Gaul. So, and another one that like talked shit, he said like that all Celtic men are homosexuals. You know, they like the company of men better than women. Like Julius Caesar's one that talked. He was a fruitcake of epic proportions. But he said that they, you know, I mean, they're headhunters. They're cannibals. They eat other humans. He said all kinds of shit just to like win his propaganda campaign. And a lot of it comes down as history, which is lies. And then a lot of it actually is true. And so you got to pick apart what's real and what's not. But anyway, all of these old writers describe, now and let's get back to identity, all right? I'm a white person whose family has been a white family in America pretty much since they got off the banana boat from Europe, all right? The first people that moved here that I know of in my family is called the Moravians, and they started a city called Bethlehem, right where I'm standing, all right? And they, like, and when Bethlehem was started, Bethlehem went up to Wall Street. I am now on Broad Street. This was Indian territory when Bethlehem got started. Indians lived where I'm walking. And there was a wall. And somebody had to man the wall. And when the Indians got wild and starting to break down the walls and attack the settlement, had to fight against them. Yeah, I go back that far, all right? Now, I have Welsh ancestry on my grandfather's side. My grandfather's name is I should have his name. That's my father's father, right? But my father's father was a hustler and a gangster, and he had his own wifey, and my grandmom was his chick on the side, so I didn't get his name, I got her name. But anyway, that guy was Welsh. He came from Philadelphia, and his ancestors came with William Penn. He'd been in Philadelphia all that time. William Penn is from Wales. In fact, a lot of the place names around Philadelphia, for instance, Ballykinwood, Pen Argyll, I can't even name them all, I forget them all right now, but there's so many Welsh names around Philly that you don't even recognize, and it's because William Penn was Welsh, all right, and he spoke Brythonic Welsh as well as English, all right. So, you know, I got a grandmother that's Ukrainian. I got a ton of German in my family. German from every which direction, every which way you go. Even on the Irish sides of my family, there's still, like, you got to go up to, like, great-great-grandparents till you find truly 100% people that are from the nation they're from. Like, after that, everything's a mix. It's just white people fucking white people once America got started. So, as a white person in America, you can say dumb shit. Like, if you don't know your history and you just assume that your mom's name is German and your dad's name is Italian, so therefore you're German-Italian, that's not right. You're not right. There's literally a web of thousands of people that make up your background, your family background. And, you know, it gets to the point where there's so many from so many places, it's like, well, what the hell matters? What am I then? What is my identity? Right, like even if you are 100% Italian, there's probably somebody in Italy who is from Greece or from Romania, or somebody fucks a fucking gypsy somewhere or some shit. In America, you always hear people say, well, I do have Indian on one side of my family. That usually is true. Somebody usually did fuck with an Indian. Somebody took a squaw and had a baby, and then that was someone in your family. It's definitely possible, and I've done my family research, and that is present in my family. somebody did fucking Indian. I don't have Indian blood, even though a lot of Native Americans like to think that I am Native American. A lot of Italians think I'm Italian. A lot of Jews think I'm Jewish. A lot of Arabs think I'm Arab. Trust me, if you look at my family, unless there was some mix up in the fucking hospital when I was born, everybody, France is a German last name. Most of the people that I am related to they look white, there's no question. There's blonde hair. My son has blonde hair. My Uncle Kelly has blonde hair and blue eyes, and he's 6'4". Like, we're Aryan. I just don't, I don't know if I chameleonized in with the fucking environment I grew up with, or what, but anyway, bottom line is, okay, so if I'm mostly German, so when you narrow it all down, I'm probably something like, I don't know, 52% German, 34% Celtic, I don't know, 5% Ukrainian or Russian or whatever that weird one is, and then there's like this mix of other shit, okay? So it becomes like, what the hell is my identity? If I'm a Heinz 57, which one of the 57 the ingredients matters? Well, to me, then you got to go to history, all right? And I'm going to take a pause, one moment. All right, so anyway, so you have you're a Heinz 57, you have all these ingredients in you. Which one counts? All right, you go back to the history. Now, look, I don't have much of anything, but I'm mostly German and Celtic, all right? So, what's Germans described as? Well, Germans are described as belligerent, warlike, exact, scientific, on point, hardworking, never giving up without a fight. I mean, when Germany gets pissed off, the whole world got to gang up against them to stop them. That's the Germany, all right? Germany gave you like almost every science, chemistry, biology, rocketry, nuclear physicists, all that shit. Most of it in the modern world started somewhere. And psychology, Freud was from Austria. And that is, by the way, where the Frances are. They're not actually German. My actual family is from Salzburg. But anyways, I don't really read like a description of a German. All right, let's look at the description of the Celts. Belligerent, quick-tempered, really into music, really into drinking while they listen to music, really into drinking and getting into fights with each other over dumb shit while they're listening to music and drinking. Can't build a civilization, can't build a freaking house, can't run a farm, can't get your shit together because you're too busy down at the pub. Boy, that sounds just like me. Into poetry, me. Into rapping, me. Into smoking blunts and having whiskey, me. Into being oversexed, me. Everything about the Celts, like every description of them as a people is like a description of me as a person. So I didn't even know this until, and nobody told me about it until the year 1995. I had just graduated from college, and my girlfriend at the time, her name was Jen Hannig, beautiful girl from Muhlenberg, took me to the movies after we graduated, and we saw a movie called Braveheart with Mel Gibson. And you've all had to see this movie and be familiar with it. That is, of course, the story of William Wallace and the liberation of Scotland from Anglo-Saxon domination. That, and then the fact that I just moved in. My parents wouldn't let me move home with them after college, so I moved in with my grandparents. My grandpa had all these Time Life books. He had one on China, one on Egypt, one on ancient Greece, and then there was one called The Celts, Europe's People of Iron. So I read it, and it just blew me away. It's like, wow, this is really my history right here. This is what I identify with. Also in like America, when you have your option of like being able to be proud of who you are or celebrate your heritage, somehow you're not allowed to do that if your heritage happens to be German. You're automatically a fucking Nazi if you say, I'm proud to be German. You suck dick if you fucking are proud to be German in this country. For some reason, it wasn't even World War II. After World War I, they took away all German festivals, all German-speaking like things that happen. Eagles must be scoring. All the German identity in America got taken away after World War I, and it's been that way ever since. In the city of Allentown, the main language spoken up until 1917 was German. If you don't believe me, go look at some tombstones before 1917. They're in German. All right, anyway, and that's what schools were taught in as well. And I'm sure Bethlehem was the same way. Sure, Easton was the same way. I'm sure most of Pennsylvania is German. Anyway, I consider myself a Celt. The next few shows in this series are going to bring home the history of the Celts. I know much history. I don't really have it prepared. I want to be 100% on point because this means a lot to me, and I'm not prepared, but I probably can just kick it just from what's in my head, but I would like to be on point. So these shows may not be in repetition. You may see me do something else tomorrow, but believe me, I'm going to finish this series on the Celts. Jason McNally, I send this one out to you, my Celtic brother. You're a warrior and a killer. I love you, buddy. Keep up the good work. For the rest of y'all, enjoy your weekend. My name's Richie Romance, a.k.a. Dutch Fitzpatrick. That's right. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention, my only claim to Irish descent is my mother. My mother's father is partly Irish, okay? They're mostly German, but her name growing up was Tina Fitzpatrick. Also, when I was born, my name was Richard Justin Fitzpatrick, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, my dad was 17, my mom was 17, and what else do kids do? I guess, I don't know. Until they got married a year or two later, my name didn't turn to France. It was Fitzpatrick. So, yes, that's the clan that I represent. That's the only lineage I have directly to Ireland. We come from County Cork and County Wexford, where they make the crystals. And, you know, I've already been to Ireland and Wales. I want to talk a little bit about that more on the show. You guys have a great weekend. I went way too long on this. I rambled. Look out for my next shows on the Celts. And also tonight I'm at the Fun House, Sunday Fun Day. Come see Modern Romance. Peace.